Assalamu alaikum. In this video, I will explain some information about quadratic and the cubic function and how can you deduce the function itself for quadratic and the cubic function by given some points like intersection point with x-axis with turning point. We will see how can we get this function, inshallah. Okay, let's start in the beginning, explain what is the main form for quadratic function because it's very important to understand the form of quadratic function. Actually, there are two forms for quadratic function. The first one is f(x) equal to ax squared plus bx plus c. This is a quadratic function or the form of quadratic function. There is another form which is very important, which is called completing square form. The completing square is f(x) equal to ax plus p square plus q. This is called completing the square form. What is the most important thing about this form? Actually, the most important thing is the completing the square, because it's a very important one, because from this one you can get the maximum or turning or stationary point from this form. What is the coordinate of turning point? The coordinate of turning point, you can get it from completing the square, which is negative b and q. This is a coordinate of turning point. And you should understand, if in any example or any problem in the exam, he give you whatever something called turning point, stationary point, minimum point, or maximum point, you have to write the quadratic equation in the completing the square form. It's very important to understand this point. Okay. As you know, the completing the quadratic equation or quadratic function, you can draw it like that, maybe smile face or maybe sad face. For a smile face, you have minimum point, but this is minimum point. And for sad face or whatever, this is maximum point. Both of them are called stationary point or turning point. But how can I understand, or how can you know that there is minimum or maximum point? It depends on the value of x squared. The coefficient of x squared here, for example, is called a. If this value of a is positive value, so it has a minimum and it has smile face. You have a smile face. But what if a, the coefficient of x squared, is negative? Then you have sad face. Like that. Okay? The thing you have to think about it, which is smile face or sad face, to make sure you get the equation in right way. If you have smile face, so you should have minimum point. If you have sad face, you should have maximum point. But if in the example or in the problem in the exam, he give you minimum point. If he give you something like minimum point, you should understand that the value of a should be positive value. But what if, for example, he said maximum point is given? In this case, a value must be negative value. But you should understand about these two things, because you have to check your answer according to the given data. Let us solve some problem related to that. Here he give you the sketch and ask you about what? Ask you about to get the equation of the function of quadratic function. These sketches are graphs of quadratic functions of the form ax squared plus bx plus c. Find the value of a, b, and c for each function. How can you get the function itself according to these figures? Actually, you should understand how can you sketch, then you will understand how can you get the formula itself. In the beginning, how can you sketch the graph? To sketch the graph, you should get two things. The first thing called x-intercept and y-intercept. Y-intercept mean x equal to 0. You can get y-intercept. It will be just one value. It will be one value. But what about x-intercept? At x-intercept, you should put y equal to 0. In this case, you can get ax squared plus bx plus c equal to 0. You can get, in this case, three different cases. Maybe you intersect the x-axis at 2 points. Maybe you intersect it at 1 point. Maybe there is no intersection at all. How can you understand, or how can you know you have 2, 1, or whatever, nothing? This according to the discriminant b squared minus 4ac. This discriminant can determine if you have 2, 1, or nothing. There is something very important. If you put y equal to 0, this means you get the roots of the function. The root is keyword regarding what? Regarding the root. But the root is the keyword for what? For function equal to 0. But the function equal to 0, you should understand if you have a function equal to 0 or y equal to 0, this means you need to get the roots. Here you can say x-intercept has a different name like x-intercept, or you can say the solution when the function equal to 0, or you can say the roots of the function. Okay, this is very important point. Okay, let's start. How can you get the answer? You can select one of these. Okay, let us start with whatever number A. Okay, for number A, he gave you what? He gave you x-intercept 3 and 5, and in the same time, he gave you y-intercept. In the beginning, how can I get the formula for the function? Here, he didn't give you anything related to minimum or maximum point. So don't think about the completing square form. For this reason, here, if you don't have any minimum, any maximum turning stationary point, don't think about the completing the square form. Just think about what? Just think about the normal form, which is ax squared plus bx plus c. That's it. Okay, how can you get it? This is the point. To get it, we will start with a, and I give you the steps to get the final answer, which is in the form ax squared plus bx plus c. Okay. Let us take some split here. In the beginning, to solve part A, you should write the value of x in the beginning, x-intercept. At y equal to 0, you have what? You have x equal to 0, equal to 3, sorry, and x equal to 5. This called roots of the function when y equal to 0. Actually, you can get, for example, 3 in the other side and 5 to the other side as well. It will be x minus 3, and it will be x minus 5. This called factors. You get the factors here. But in the beginning, these are the roots of the function. Okay? But this is the first step. But the first step, you should start with x-axis, and then to get the factor. After getting the factor, multiply both of them together and make expansion. Okay, it will be x squared minus 3x minus 5x plus 15. Okay, then simplify. It will be equal to x squared minus 8x plus 15. So some students say, okay, I get the function. This is the function. This is wrong way. This is wrong. You didn't get anything. You have to check because you don't have just the x-intercept. Here you have y-intercept as well. Where is y-intercept? Y-intercept on the graph itself is 15. So how can you get y-intercept? Actually, you have to put at the last one here, when you just simplify and expand your brackets, you have to put x equal to 0 to get y-intercept. If you put x equal to 0, then it will be 0, 0, then it will be 0 minus 0 plus 15. Then y-intercept in this case is 15. Is this right or wrong? This right, because it's already given in the diagram itself, it is 15. يبقى you are right. If you are right and you already get whatever you have on the sketch itself, so this is the last formula you get it, then you can say, then y equal to x squared minus 8x plus 15. يبقى you get the answer of the function, you get the function at the end. يبقى this is your function. يبقى the first step to get the function, it depends. Here I give you the x-intercept and y-intercept. Don't start with y-intercept, just start with x-intercept. X-intercept mean roots. Okay, so at y equal to 0, you have the roots, which is equal to 3 and 5. After getting the root or writing the root, just write the factors. After getting the factor, just expand. After expanding, you have to check. Check about what? Check about the y-intercept. When you put x equal to 0, you can get y-intercept. Y-intercept is 15. Is this one identical to the given one? Yes, it's the same value, 15 and 15 as well. So you get the right answer, and this is the final formula of the function fx or y. Okay, let us take another example. Example number B. Okay, we will repeat whatever we did before to get the same the answer for this one. B. B, I will start again with x-intercept. So y equal to 0, x-intercept equal to negative 2, and equal to positive 5. Take negative 2 to the other side. It will be x equal x plus 2 and x minus 5. The first one is roots. The second line is factors. Multiply the factor together and simplify. It will be x squared minus 5x plus 2x minus 10. Simplify, it will be x squared minus 3x minus 10. You get it? No, you have to check first. If you have, how can you check? You have to put x equal to 0 to get y-intercept. Y-intercept. Put x equal to 0 in this one, you get what? You get 0 minus 10. You get minus 10. If this value is right, no, it's wrong. Why? Because y-intercept, as you see here in the diagram at the top here, y-intercept is positive 10, not negative 10. What did this mean? This means it's not the value that I need to get it. I need to get positive 10. So how can you play with the value that you get here, which is negative 10, to be 10? You have to multiply by negative 1. But this mean you have to multiply the function by negative 1. Which function? You get it here. You have to multiply by negative 1. But actually, to get the final answer for the function formula at the end, you have to multiply x squared minus 3x minus 10 by negative 1. So the function y equal to, when you multiply by negative 1, it will be negative x squared plus 3x plus 10. It will be negative x squared plus 3x plus 10. Then you have to use the y-intercept at the end to get the right answer. Okay, how do you know this is the right answer? You can check your answer according to the shape of the diagram itself. This shape is a sad face. Sad face means the coefficient of x squared must be negative sign, and you already get negative sign. What about the value of y-intercept? The value of y-intercept is 10. Okay, if you put x equal to 0 in this formula, you get y equal to 10. Okay, according to what? According to the diagram. Yeah, but you have to check now. You have to use the coefficient of x squared, which is negative or positive, depends on smile or sad face. And the last thing, you have to check the second point, which you didn't use it during getting the formula, which is y-intercept. Then y-intercept, you have to use it at the end to check your answer is right or your answer is wrong. If your answer is right, okay, you get the final answer. What if, for example, it's not the same like diagram? You have to modify the formula to be coincident with what? With the value of y. This is the point of how can you get the formula of the function according to your given sketch. Okay, let us take another example in this one. We can take, for example, C. Okay. C. Again, in the beginning, at y equal to 0, write whatever you have on the x. Don't look at the y-intercept from the beginning. Just start with x-intercept. Okay, x-intercept y equal to 0. So you have x equal negative 3. You have x equal to negative 3. And you have x equal positive 3. This called roots, as we said. You have to get the factors. So x plus 3 and x minus 3. This is factors. Factors. Then simplify. Multiply it together. It will be x squared minus 9. You can do it direct without simplify each term by together, because you already have difference between squares, so you can just simplify directly like that. X times x and 3 times negative 3, it will be x squared minus 9. Okay, then did you finish your answer? No, I have to get y-intercept. يبقى put x equal to 0. If you put x equal to 0, you get negative 9. If this answer is right, you have to return back to your diagram. You can find y-intercept equal negative 18, which is not like negative 9. How can you modify negative 9 to be negative 18? Actually, you have to multiply by 2. Okay? Negative 9 by 2? No, you have to multiply the formula that you get here by 2. So now you get y, then y equal to y equal to, when you multiply by 2, it will be 2x squared minus 18. And this is your final answer. How can you check? Actually, the coefficient of x squared is positive, which it should be smile face. This is a point number 1. Point number 2, if you put x equal to 0, you get y equal negative 18. If you check your diagram again for last time, you have already negative 18 for y-intercept and the smile face as we said. Okay, I leave D to just to try it by yourself and to understand how can you get the answer by yourself. Okay, but you should get in the beginning the step number 1. You have to use x-intercept. After getting x-intercept, which is x equal to negative 1 and x equal to 4 for in case of D, you have to get the factor. After getting the factor, multiply. After multiplying by factor together and simplify, you have to put x equal to 0 to get y-intercept. If y-intercept is coincident and identical to the given in the diagram, okay, you get your answer. If you didn't, you have to modify. Okay, this is the point. Okay, type. Let us solve another example related to quadratic formula as well. Here he said in this question, the curve C has equation y equal fx. Fx is a quadratic expression. Then fx is a function. Fx is a function, which this function is quadratic. The maximum turning point. Okay, this very important point. Here he said maximum turning point. He mentioned something about turning point or whatever, maximum or minimum, but here he said maximum. What is the meaning of maximum? The maximum mean the curve should be like that. What does this mean? In here is maximum point. This is a maximum point. This means ax squared plus bx plus c. This is a formula for the quadratic, and the a must be negative sign. This is the point because it's a set phase. Okay, he give you the maximum point, which is -2 and 12. Actually, you don't have to think about a only, but you have to think about completing the square form. In this case, if you have maximum turning point, you should think about completing the square form. And he give you another thing. C cut the negative x-axis at -5. This means this point. Cut x-axis mean what? Mean y equal to 0. يبقى y equal to 0, y equal to 0, and x -5. يبقى you know the intersection point with the curve and the x-axis, which is -5 and 0. Okay, here in the first question asked you about find fx. How can you get fx? As I said, if you have maximum point, you have to think about which formula. Let us return back to the first page. Here, this formula at the right side. You have to think about completing the square form. A x is x plus b all squared plus q. And actually, you have to think about how can you get the maximum or turning point or whatever minimum point. It's a -p and the q, -p and the q. Okay. Okay, let's start to solve the problem using this formula and to understand how can we use it and how can we get the answer. Here you have the point maximum, -2 and 12. Okay, but to solve number A, you have to write the formula fx in the form of completing the square. A x plus b squared plus q. You get already maximum point. Actually, the maximum point is -2 and 12, which is the same -b and the q. So how can you get b? Actually, -b equal to and 12 equal to q. يبقى in this part you can get here -2 equal -b, then b equal to 2 and 12 equal to q. يبقى you get q. You can use the value of b and the value of q in the completing the square form here and write fx. Okay, yeah. Fx equal to a x plus b, which is +2 all squared, plus 12. Okay, then how can I get a? This is not another point. To get a, you should have another point, another intersection point, another given data, anything else to get a. Actually, he gave you another thing, which is x-intercept. He gave you x-intercept -5. So at x equal -5, what is the value of y? The value of y equal to 0 because it's x-intercept, then the y equal to 0. You can put y equal to 0 here. A x replace x by -5 plus 2 all squared plus 12. Okay, in this case you can get a. The only unknown is a. Okay, 0 equal to a -3 squared plus 12. You can get 12 to the other side. A equal negative 12 over 9. A equal negative 4 over 3. Negative 4 over 3. You get A. Then you can substitute in the equation itself. Then fx equal to negative 4 over 3 times x plus 2 square plus 12. In most cases, he didn't need the formula like that. He need the formula like fx, for example, ax squared plus bx plus c. This is a formula. How can you get this formula? You have to expand fx so that you get it, and then simplify to get the formula that he need. For this reason, fx equal to negative 4 over 3 will be x squared plus 4x plus 4 plus 12. Then expand this bracket. It will be fx equal to negative 4 over 3 x squared negative 16 over 3x negative 16 over 3 plus 12. Actually, here you can simplify the last two terms. Then fx equal to negative 4 over 3x squared minus 16 over 3x. Then this one is 312 equal to 336. So negative 1636, it will be plus 20 over 3. Then you get the answer. This is a formula that you get of the function fx. Okay, if this one is right or wrong, you can check using the value of a. The value of a, which is the coefficient of x squared, is negative sign, which is right because he gave you the maximum point, and the maximum point is related to negative sign or whatever sad face, as I said in the beginning. So the a value is negative, which is right. This is how can you get a quadratic equation using a maximum or minimum, or using an x-intercept in the beginning of this video. Okay. Another question here. This is question number A. There is another question. He say the line L1 has equation y equal 4 over 5. He give you equation of the line called L1. Okay. Given that the line L2 is perpendicular to line L1 and pass through the point. Okay. He said here perpendicular. What is the meaning of perpendicular? Perpendicular means the gradient of M2 times the gradient of M1 should be equal to negative 1. This is the condition of perpendicular. So if you have the gradient of line L1, how can you get the gradient of line L1? The gradient of line L1 is 4 over 5. 4 over 5. Yet here you can get the gradient of L2, right? Okay, what he need in this question, find the equation of L2, writing your answer in the form y equal to mx plus c, where m and c are constants to be found. Okay, underline to be found. I will tell you why I put line under to be found. Okay, here in this question, he say, question number B, you have line L1, y equal to 4 over 3x. You have line L2, and the line L2 and L1 is perpendicular each other. So M2 equal to negative 3 over 4. And the M2 pass through the point. This point is negative 5 and 0. So how can you get the line L2? Actually, to get the equation of any line, you should have two things. The first thing, which is gradient. The second is point. You already have both of them. M2 negative 3 over 4, and you already have the point, which is negative 5 and 0. How can you write the equation of line L2? Actually, the equation or general equation for any line, it will be y minus y1 equal to mx minus x1. Here, you have a gradient, you have x1, you have already y1, you can substitute y minus 0 equal y minus 0, just a second here. Okay, y minus 0 equal to negative 3 over 4x minus x1, which is negative 5, negative, negative, equal to positive 5. You can say negative 3 over 4x, negative 15 over 4. You get the answer. This is your final answer. Actually, you have to write something else. You have to write something else. You cannot stop here. Why? You have to read the question carefully. He said here, write your answer in the form y equal mx plus c, and m and c are cannot to be found. If he said to be found, so at the end of writing your answer, you have to say, in this one, you have to say m equal, and you have to write c equal. M negative 3 over 4 and c equal negative 15 over 4. You have to write the value of m and the value of c. It's very important to make sure you write the constant. If he said to be found, so at the end of writing your answer, you have to write c and m like that. Okay, and this is your formula, which is mx plus c. Okay, this is a question. Let us solve another question related to same topic. Here he say, in this question, the curve C1 has equation y equal 3x squared plus 6x plus 9. This one is quadratic. This one is quadratic. He asked you about write the form, write 3x squared plus 6x plus 9 in the form ax plus b all squared plus c. This form is completing the square. Completing the square. Okay. Then he need the formula for the function in the form of completing the square. Okay, how can you get it? Let us start to write it. But actually at the end he writes where A, B, and C are constant to be found. Don't forget, you have to write at the end of your answer, you have to write A, B, and C separately and write their value. Okay, A, y equal to 3x squared plus 6x plus 9. To write it in the completing the square, you should use these two value only, x squared and the x, and forget about the constant, forget about 9. You cannot deal with this value, which is 9. Leave it as it is. Okay, so just play with these two value only, x squared and x. Okay, here you have to take 3 as a common factor. Completing the square, there is a condition for completing the square, which is x squared must have coefficient equal to 1. Here you have a coefficient equal to 3. It's wrong. You have to take 3 common factors. So you have x squared plus 2x like that, plus 9. Plus 9. Okay? Here, this value, which is 2, equal to b, equal to 2, so b equal to 1. Here you can write it, x plus 1 squared minus 1 squared plus 9 equal to, you can expand 3x plus 1 all squared times 3 minus 3 plus 9 equal to 3x plus 1 all squared plus 6. Then this is your formula of y, or whatever the formula that you need to write it in completing the square. But he said something here. Returned back, he said A, B, C are constant to be found. So at this case, you have to write A equal to 1, B sorry, A equal to 3, E equal to 3, E equal to 3, B equal to 1, and C equal to 6. This is your answer. Okay, طيب. Here he say deduce the coordinate of B. What is this B? Okay, he said the point P is a stationary point. He said here stationary point. How can you get the stationary point coordinate? Actually, you can get it from completing the square form. You have a completing the square form here. You already get it from this case in the first question. So you can use this question to get the answer of the second question. The coordinate of B, this is the first question. The second question mentioned the type of the stationary point. What is the meaning of type of stationary point? Maybe the stationary point is minimum, the stationary point is maximum. Let us see how can we answer these two questions. B, the coordinate of B is negative P with Q. Okay, طيب. Here B, negative B the value beside X. Okay, beside X I have 1. يبقى negative 1, not 1. Okay, يبقى B represented the value beside X here. يبقى you have B equal to 1, negative B equal to negative 1. And the Q, what's the value of Q? Which is 6. يبقى here you have negative 1 and 6. C, the type of this one, how can you determine the type? It depends on the coefficient of X squared. The coefficient of X squared is positive value. How can you know? Okay, here is 3, here is 3, here is 3, which is positive value. يبقى this one is smile face. If a smile face like that, so you have a minimum point. يبقى the value which you already get it, because this one is a smile, is minimum point. يبقى the stationary point is a minimum point. A minimum point. Okay. This is question number C. Question number D. Question number D. Okay. A different curve C2 has equation y equal ax cubed plus bx squared plus cx plus d. A, B, C, and D are constant given that C2 passed through the point P. Okay, you already know B. Be careful because he already asked here about deduce the point B is the stationary point of curve C1. Then you already get the coordinate of B, so you have it in question number D, negative 1 and 6. But in this case, when he said passes through the point B, you already have negative 1 and 6. Okay, and intersect the x-axis at 3 points, negative 4, negative 2, and 3. Okay, find in making your method clear the values of A, B, C, and D. How can you get it? Actually, you can use whatever we did in question number 1. How can you get the equation of cubic equation? Actually, you have to start with x-intercept. Negative 4, negative 2, 3, which means roots. Then get the factor. After getting the factor, you have to simplify. After simplification, you have to make a check. How can you check? Here I give you a point. This point be negative 1 and 6. So you can use this point to check your answer is right or your answer is wrong or you need some modification. Okay, let's start to solve. How can we get this formula? Okay, you have x-intercept negative 4, negative 2, and 3. So in the beginning, you can write y equal to 0. When y equal to 0, I have 3 different roots. I have x equal to negative 4, and the x equal to negative 2, and the x equal to 3. This called roots. As I said, this called roots. I can get factors. X plus 4, and you can get x plus 2, and x minus 3. This called factors. You can multiply all of these factors together like that. Okay. Okay, let's start to get this factor. Actually, if you multiply the first two brackets, you can get, for example, x squared, 4x and 2x, which is 6x, and 4 times 2 equal 8 times x minus 3. Then simplify the last one, it will be x cubed plus 6x squared plus 8x minus 3x squared minus 3x squared minus 18x and then minus 24. Then you get your answer is x cubed plus 3x squared minus 10x minus 24. Okay, so you get this answer. Okay, this answer is right or wrong. Well, we can say, for example, then I get y. You can write like that. Y equal x cubed plus 3x squared minus 10x minus 24. Okay, but how can you know your answer is right? Actually, I have a point, which is point P. You have point P, -1 and 6. In this case, you can check. Check about what? Actually, if you put -1, you cannot get 6. You cannot get 6. Okay, how do you know? Okay, try at x equal to -1 and find whatever you get. Y equal to, if you put -1, it will be -1. -1 squared, it will be plus 3. -1, it will be plus 10. Minus 24. Okay, maybe you can get it. You are lucky if you get it, okay? If you get 6. But here, if you say 12, it will be minus 12. You didn't get 6. You didn't get the value of 6. So you have to modify the value of y. How can you modify the value of y? You have to multiply by, in the beginning, you get negative, but I have positive. But you have to multiply by negative value. Which value? Actually, I have 12, but I should get 6. But you have to multiply by negative half. In this case, which value you have to multiply? Actually, you have to multiply the value, you get it here, by negative half. Then you can write your answer. The answer is y equal to, instead of x cubed, it will be negative half x cubed. Instead of 3x squared, no, it will be -3 over 2x squared. Negative 10x times the negative half, it will be positive 5x. What about negative 24 times the negative half? It will be plus 12. This is your final answer. You get it. You get it here. Okay. If this is your answer, to check your answer, if you put whatever x equal -1, x equal -1, you can get 6 as point B. So, as I mentioned in the very beginning of this video, to get any equation, you have to think about the given data, especially if start with x-intercept, because x-intercept is the roots. X-intercept, which is called roots, you have to start with, and from this roots you can get the factor. After getting the factor, you have to simplify. After getting the simplification, you have to check. How can you check? In the very beginning, we check with y-intercept, but here, for example, I check with a point. There is another thing I have to confirm about it regarding the minimum, maximum, turning point, stationary point. If he say during the exam, stationary point, maximum point, turning point, you have to think about the formula of completing the square. Okay. If you have any question or whatever, you can write write in the comment below this video, and I will answer any question that you have, inshallah. Okay, thank you very much for watching, and see you in the next video, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.